same as usual, trying to find a comfortable position, seated or lying down. If you're lying down, encouraging the shoulders to let go, allowing the arms to turn, palms are facing up and towards the ceiling, the front of the chest to open up and relax. If I'm seated, trying to find the best seated position I can get to, trying to encourage a little lift at the front so that the rib cage is not compressing, it's not squashing the belly. It's allowing an easier breath into the abdomen. It's allowing the diaphragm to move up and down with the breath. The shoulders relax, the neck is relaxed, so noticing where the breath is coming from. If I can feel that the breath is up at the top of the chest, I can feel it into the collarbones, into the neck. See if I can allow the neck to relax and soften, the collarbones in the front of the chest to relax it too, encouraging the breath to drop down into the belly. And then same as usual, just noticing where the body is and how the body feels. So if I'm sitting up, is the pressure under my seat bones the same right and left side, or is it slightly different? Do I feel straight or do I feel leaning to one side? Is one shoulder higher than the other? Is the head slightly tipped to one side? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where the body is and how the body feels. Same if I'm lying down using the floor, noticing the pressure at the back of the shoulders, the pressure at the back of the hips. Is it the same right and left side? Is it slightly different? Do I feel twisted? Again, is my head centered, or do I feel slightly wonky, slightly leaning to one side? So once you feel that the body's a little bit more settled, the breath feels a little bit more relaxed, and then working on the neck. I'm going to start turning the head gently from one side to the other, just encouraging a little rotation. So again, noticing the difference between the right and the left side. As I look over the right, I feel more comfortable. As I look over the left, I feel a little bit more restricted. With the corner of your eye, just especially if you're sitting up, just look at the shoulder as you're turning to look around the shoulder, making sure that the shoulder is not moving back with you. So I'm not turning the all of the body, I'm just turning the head, so I can just feel the neck moving. So the restricted, if one side feels a little bit more restricted than the other, then see if I can maybe keep the head turning in that direction for a little bit longer. See if I can play maybe with the position of the chin slightly. Can I find a better combination that is going to allow the neck to relax, and that is going to allow me to turn better or in an easier way? 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, returning the head back to the middle, and then from rotation I'm going to go for a little lateral flexion. So this time think of dropping your right ear down to the right shoulder. So I'm going to try and find a gentle stretch that comes from the base of the left ear, comes down the side of the neck over the top of the left shoulder. Then I'm going to come back, I'm going to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. See if I can find that same traction coming down the side of the neck the other way. Then coming back, bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. And then the left to the left. So it's a nice, easy side-to-side movement. Again, noticing difference. When I bring the right ear to the right shoulder, my head tends to turn slightly. When I bring the left ear to the left shoulder, I'm looking straight ahead. See if you can keep the tip of the nose pointing straight ahead at all times. So if my head is on the floor, because I'm lying down, think of the nose always pointing to the ceiling. If I'm sitting up, think of the point of the nose, the tip of the nose pointing straight ahead, straight at the wall in front of you. 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, bringing the head back to the middle, and then changing the direction of the movement one more time. I'm going to go for a little flexion extension. So if you're seated, you've got a little bit more range as you can come over into flexion a little bit more. So if I'm seated, I'm going to tuck the chin in, and then I'm going to bring the chin down towards the throat, down towards the chest, to see if I can create a nice stretch at the back. And then I'm going to lift the chin up and see if I can try and encourage a nice stretch at the front of the throat. And I'm going to tuck the chin in, round in the back of the neck, and then I'm going to move back, trying to open up the front of the throat. If you're lying down on the mat, so keeping the head on the floor, think of that little skull rocker. So I'm going to press the chin into the back of the throat. Picture the back of your neck going flat against the mat. And then I'm going to lift the chin up and away. See if I can try and lengthen through the front of the neck and front of the throat. As you're keeping that movement going, making sure that, especially on extension, so as you're looking back, as you're looking up, I can feel the stretch at the front of the throat, but there is no pain into the neck. So I'm not compressing the neck, I'm not creating pinching, there is no pain shooting down the arms or any tingling into the fingers. If there is, I'm just going to ease off on the extension, making sure that I'm not triggering the pain down the arms. And then as you're keeping the movement going, you want to create just a little bit more stretch down the front of the throat, the front of the neck, as we spend so much time sitting down and kind of like hunched forward, so compressing everything, compressing the windpipe too. So on the next one, it doesn't matter if you're seated or lying down, I'm going to hook the fingers just over the top of the collarbones. So I'm going to hold onto the skin there. And then I'm just going to pull that down on the skin gently as I lift the chin up and behind. See if you can create a gentle traction, a little bit more traction down the front of the throat. And I'm going to ease back, and then again. So I'm going to pull down with the fingers, and then I'm going to lift up with the chin with the head. And then coming back. Just noticing any difference between the right and the left side of the throat. You might find that one side seems to be gliding really well. One side seems to be slightly stuck or stiffer, tighter than the other. I might be able to feel the stretch on one side and no stretch on the other side. So see if I can encourage that gentle pull with the fingers. So I'm going to drag down on the skin with the fingers, and then I'm going to pull away with the chin. And then releasing back. One more time. Pulling gently down with the fingers, lifting up to the chin. And releasing back. Releasing the neck, giving the neck a little bit of a roll, the shoulders a little bit of a roll if you need to. Hopefully a little bit more freedom into the neck. We're going to start moving down into the upper back. So if you're lying down, raising the arms straight up in front of you, up at the ceiling. If you're seated up, straight ahead of you. Keeping the hands together or hands apart, I'm going to start rotating from side to side. So I'm going to swing the arms over to the right. I'm going to rotate to the right, and then over to the left, rotating to the left. So think of a nice, gentle rocking from side to side. So if I'm lying down on the back, I'm rocking from shoulder to shoulder. If I'm seated up, I'm just going to turn to look over one, turn to look over the other side. But this time, instead of just turning the head, I'm going to turn my head and my shoulders too. Come back, turn the head, and then turn the shoulders too. So encouraging that rotation. See if you can think of the movement right up at the very top of the spine. So your thoracic spine is moving. If you're seated, that's normally not an issue because your sequence down on the chair, down on the floor, so they shouldn't be moving. If you're lying down on your back, making sure that it's just the upper body that is turning, the hips are not coming with me, so I'm not turning the all of the body side to side. So the hips are staying still, it's just the upper body that is rocking side to side. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Returning the arms down by the side, relaxing the back. It's a little bit more movement. Exactly the same as we did for the neck. From rotation, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So if you're lying down, I'm going to use one hand to support the head. With the other arm, I'm going to reach down the side, and then as if I was trying to touch my right arm to my right foot, I'm going to flex it to the right to see how close to the right foot I can get. Come back to the middle, swap the hands over, and then see if I can get the left down towards the left foot, and then coming back. If I'm seated up, imagine to be picking up something from the floor by the side of the chair. So I'm going to reach down on the right, come back, and then reach down on the left. So I don't need to support the head as it's quite a comfortable position. The head is still sitting on top of the shoulders. And then this time, picture your spine. So instead of rotating, I'm going to flex it laterally. So imagine the rib cage, or the back of the rib cage. See if I can encourage the back of the rib cage to flex in that direction. So I'm going to shorten one side and then open and lengthen the other. Come back to the middle and then shorten one side and then open and lengthen the other side. So nice and easy one way and the other way. And then same as you did for the neck, but just noticing restriction, especially if you're sitting up, just noticing that direction you're going. So am I dropping right down to the side, or do I feel myself actually coming forward slightly? Can I try and be aware of that sideways movement a little bit more? So imagine your back to be against the very back of the chair or against the wall. Could I keep my shoulders on the wall and get the little side to side going? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last time, and releasing back, straightening up the back. This is a little bit more movement, same as we did for the neck. From lateral flexion, I'm going to go into extension and flexion. If you're seated, again, you've got more space to play with. So in flexion, I can actually flex as much as I want, so I can come down and round through the back. And then as I extend, I can extend as much as I want to the other way. If I'm lying down, I want the head to stay on the ground. So my flexion will be slightly restricted because my head is on the floor, but my extension will be nice and big. So I'm going to pull forward through the shoulders, round slightly into the back, and then extend. I'm going to send the ribcage up and twist the ceiling, see if I can create a space underneath the back of the ribcage, underneath the lower back. And then I'm going to release again. Flexion into extension. So think of opening the front of the chest, lengthening through the breastbone as you extend your way up to the ceiling, and then opening up through the back of the rib cage and the back of the shoulders as I flex my way forward. So extending and lifting, and then flexing your way. Extending and lifting, and then flexing your way. Using the arms, if I'm seated, use the arms to encourage even more lift. So if I just try to lift up, it feels quite heavy, it feels quite hard. If I hook onto my thighs, my knees, my legs, the table in front of me, I can actually hold on to something and really pull myself forward, lift myself up. And then I'm just going to drop back down again. So really think of making the front of the body as spacious as possible. So I'm going to exaggerate. I'm going to push the chest forward and then lift it up at the same time. See if I can create a nice space behind the back. And then I'm just going to relax and round again. And then again, I'm going to extend and lift and then relax and flop it down again. 4, 3, 2, last time, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the back. A little bit more movement through the thoracic. We're going to work it down into the lumbar. So starting off with a little pelvic tilt. So if I'm lying down on the mat, I'm just going to tilt the pelvis back. I try to press the lower back nice and flat against the floor, and then I'm just going to go forward and back into neutral. So I'm going to tilt back and then forward, tilt back and then forward. So think of a nice gentle rocking, so as if the pelvis was like a ball or a ball that you're just rolling forward and back. If I'm sitting down, similar movement if you what you've done just now, flexion extension, but this time instead of trying to flex it from up here, see if I can try and move from down here. So can I rock back onto my tailbone and then lift right up onto my seat bones? Can I rock back onto the tailbone and then lift back up onto the seat bones? So can I try and picture the movement down at the bottom of the spine? Can I try and encourage a little tilt forward and back? Or can I encourage that little movement right at the bottom of the spine? So see if you can be aware as you're trying to create that tilt, as you're trying to find that tilt, or a little bit more tension at the front of the belly. So the belly is shortening and tightening to encourage me to tilt back, and then lengthening again as I tilt forward. So shortening and tightening as I tilt back, and then lengthening as I go back into neutral. So tilting and releasing that tilt. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the back, adjusting the hips if you need to. From flexion extension, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So this time, instead of moving from the top, so instead of trying to drop down the side, I'm going to hitch up the side. So I'm going to try and bring the right hip bone up towards the rib crease. So I'm going to try and hitch my right hip up, then come back, and then I'm going to try and hitch my left hip. So I'm going to hitch the right, and then hitch the left. So if I'm lying down, legs straight or bent, to see if you can think of shortening the right side of the belly, lengthening the left, and then come back, shortening that left, lengthening the right. So it's a gentle rocking, but this time that is happening side to side. See if I can find that connection into the side of the belly a little bit more. So as I try to hitch my right hip towards the right side of the rib cage, I should be feeling a strong tension on the right side of the belly. As I try to hitch that left side of the hip to the left side of the rib cage, I can feel the tension on the left side. I'm going to go right to right, left to left, right to right, left to left. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back to the middle, adjusting the hips, releasing the hips, relaxing through the back. So a little bit more movement through the all of the spine. I'm going to try and see if I can start combining some of the movements together. So keeping the knees bent if you're lying down on the back. Shuffle the feet and the knees nice and close together. I'm going to raise the arms straight ahead of me, clasping the hands or keeping them apart. And then this time I'm going to move the shoulders and the hips at the same time. So I'm going to turn the hips to the right, and then with the shoulders I'm going to reach to the left. Then come back to the middle. I'm going to turn my hips to the left, and then the shoulders are going to go to the right. If you're sitting down, to try and get top to bottom going, think with the opposite hand, reach across to the leg. So I'm going to try and turn my rib cage that way, and my legs, I'm going to try and push them the other way. Then come back to the middle. I'm going to turn the rib cage the other way and then push the legs in the opposite direction. So see if you can think of all of the spine spiraling around. So from the hips to the shoulders, from the hips to the shoulders the other way. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, returning back to the middle, adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the hips. And then I'm going to try and see if I can combine the lateral flexion together. So think of tightening one side of the body from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to reach with my right arm down, and at the same time I'm going to try and hitch my right hip up. So I'm going to try and squeeze myself a little bit tighter on the right side. Then come back, and then I'm going to try and squeeze myself a little bit tighter on the left. So if I'm lying down, what I want is for the body to reach down the right and the hip to hitch up into the body. So see if you can think of the top of your hip bone and the bottom of your rib cage touching. So can I get the left hip and the left side of the rib cage to touch? Can I get the right hip and the right side of the rib cage to touch? Can I get the left hip and the left side of the rib cage to touch? Can I get the right hip and the right side of the rib cage to touch? Using the hand the same as before to support the head if I need to. Making sure that the neck is not straining as I'm doing so. So hitching up on the hip, dropping down on the shoulder, hitching up on the hip, dropping down on the shoulder the other way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, returning the shoulders, the hips are back to the middle, and then we're going to change the direction of the movement one last time. We're going to go flexion, extension. So if I'm sitting down, same as we practiced before, I'm going to try and flex. See if you can think it from the bottom of the spine to the toes. So I'm going to try and run myself into a nice tight little ball, and then I'm just going to extend my way back up from the bottom all the way to the top. If you're lying down, I'm going to use the hands to support the head. I'm going to extend my way up, sending the ribcage up to the ceiling, and then I'm just going to flex my way forward, lifting the head and the shoulders up. Then I'm going to extend up to the ceiling, and then I'm going to flex my way forward, lift my way up, and then coming back. Just making sure that if you're lying down, the up and down movement is not creating pressure or pain into the neck. So I'm not trying to push forward using the neck. So it's not my neck muscles that are stiffening. It's just the weight of the head carried through the arms. The tension is in the belly. It's pulling me forward, pulling me down, compressing to create that lift. And then I'm just going to extend and open again. So dropping down and rounding, and then lifting up, extending through. 4, 3, 2, last time. And releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit overall. We've got a good movement through the back. It's a little bit more sink above and below. I'm going to try and focus on the shoulder. So first thing, I'm just going to test the movement and test the range. So one arm at a time, I'm going to raise the right arm up to the front, and then I'm going to reach it back, Reach it up as far as I feel comfortable with the shoulder. Then I'm going to come back. With the left arm, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to lift up, reach, just notice any restriction, notice any shrugging, notice any leaning, then coming back, and then again, the right side, I'm going to test that right arm, come back, test the left, and then back. I'm going to try one more time on each side, so noticing how the right shoulder, the right arm feels, the body feels when you lift that right arm, and how it feels when you move that left. Then returning both arms back down, and then what I'm going to do is just trying to release slightly across the front of the shoulders, across the front of the chest. So imagine the vest line, so exactly the same kind of like edge of my vest there. With the fingers, I'm just going to get in there, and then I'm just going to massage along that area. I'm just going to rub it around. As you massage along there, from the collarbone down towards the armpit, but not into the armpit, notice any point. There might be some point along the way. There will surely be some point, at least one, along the way that feels quite tender. If you find that a tender spot, almost like a trigger point, I'm just going to stay there for a little bit longer, so see if I can try and ease some of the tenderness, see if I can ease some of the stiffness away, and then I'm just going to move on again. Above or below, trying to follow that line, see if I can try and release it through the arm, release it through the shoulder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to release back. Relaxing the arms down by the side. Now, the side that you've just released, I want to move the arm up and behind to see how the arm feels now with the lift. You should be feeling a little bit easier. It might feel the same, it might feel worse. And I'm going to ease back. And now try the other side, the one that you haven't released yet. Come back. Try the first side again. Again, noticing if it feels any easier, any looser, and then the other side. I'm going to try one more time each way. And coming back. The other. And releasing back. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing along the other side. So I'm just going to find the edge of the shoulder, that crease at the front of the shoulder there. And then I'm just going to start digging the fingers in there, massaging, rubbing gently, see if I can try and release it. And then just noticing how different that might feel. That might feel, actually feels a little bit looser, or it feels quite tender. I feel that I've got more than one trigger point. It feels tender up here, it feels tender in the middle here. It's whatever it is. If there is any point that feels quite sore, I'm just going to stay there for a little bit longer. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back. Relaxing the arms. Try again. The side that you've just released, I'm going to move it first. Noticing if there is any difference as you're lifting. Come back. The other side, coming back, and the other side again. So the arms should be feeling, or the movement should be feeling a little bit more even again. I'm going to try one more time each way. And then releasing back, relaxing the arms down by the side, and then I'm going to play with the hips, play with the legs. So if you're sitting, you're going to go for a little knee lift. If you're lying down, you're still going to go for a little knee lift. I'm going to try and flex from the right hip, and then pulling the right foot off the ground, I'm going to try and bring the right leg up. And then I'm going to pop the leg back down, and then flexing the left hip, I'm going to lift that left hip up, left leg up, and then back down. Same as usual, if the leg is a bit temperamental, I might need to use my hands or a little strap around the leg so that I can control it a little bit better. If I'm sit it up exactly the same. So see if I can think of lifting the foot off and then put it back, and then lifting the foot off and put it down again. So almost as if I was trying to go for a little walk up and down. See if I can find the connection into the hip of the foot. It might lift, it might not lift. I'm trying, it doesn't matter how big or small the movement is. I feel that the leg is really, really heavy. I'm just going to use my hands to encourage that lift. Ease back, and then I'm going to try and encourage the hands to lift to the other way. So I can feel the difference between the right and the left side. I might find that both legs are really heavy. My right leg is heavier than my left, or vice versa, the left is heavier than the right. I might find that one lifts, so the other one doesn't want to go up at all. One, I can feel the connection through the hip. On the other side, it feels weaker. It's weaker on both, it's stronger on both. I'm just going to try one more time each way. And then I'm just going to ease the feet back down. So relaxing through the hips. I'm going to try it again. This time I'm going to try the same lift, but I'm going to put my hands on top of the belly. So I'm just going to rest the hands on top of the belly, right around the belly button, as if I was trying to hug the belly button. So I'm just going to keep the hands there. And then same as before, I wanted to try that lift. So I'm going to try and pull my right foot up, and then I'm going to pop it back, and then I'm going to try and pull my left foot up, and then pop it back down. So noticing if when the hands are holding onto the belly, the movement that feels any different. So I might find that, oops, all of a sudden the leg goes up, it didn't go up before, or the leg feels a little bit easier to move. I don't seem to be able to need my hands to move the leg. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing through the hips. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to try and see if I can stimulate those points around the side of the belly button a little bit more. So I want to find your belly button. I'm going to go about 2 inches out and 1 inch down. So it's around, I'm around there somewhere. So not out here, not right here, right there. And then I'm just going to use both hands at the same time. I'm just going to try and massage gently both sides. Same as you did for the front of the shoulder, you might find some points it feels quite tender. Again, if there is tenderness, I'm just going to see if I can try and massage it better, see if I can try and make it easier. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Big breath into the belly, and then try that knee lift again. So same as before. Can I try and go back into that lift on the right? Can I try and go back into that lift on the left? Again, does it feel different? Does it feel the same? Again, I might find I can actually lift it better, or I could lift it on the first one, or it feels maybe a little bit easier, or it just feels the same. I'm going to try 2 more times. So 1, and the other, and then 1 more time. 1, and the other side. And then relaxing through the hips and releasing through the legs. There's a little bit more connection into the front of the hip, or front of the thigh. I'm going to try and find the same, but this time working from the back, working from behind. So this time I'm going to try and focus more on the back of the hip, on the back of the bum. So if I'm seated down, same as usual, I'm just going to start to clenching my bum cheeks together. So I'm just going to try and squeeze myself up and relax, squeeze up and relax, squeeze up and relax. So imagine to be bouncing up and down from the chair, but you're still seated on the chair. So it's just the muscle tensing and letting go, tensing and letting go. If I'm lying down, exactly the same. I'm going to clench and release, clench and release. So if I'm lying down, it will feel more like it'll become more like a pelvic tilt. So I can feel the pelvis tilting, and then I'm just going to release back, tilting and releasing back. Maintaining that tilt going, just noticing the hips and noticing the bum. I can feel my right side, I don't feel my left. I can feel my left, I don't feel my right. I can feel them both, I don't feel any. Just to see if you can try and find the connection, really trying to clench the bum cheeks. And then once you feel that you've got a little bit more connection there, then if I can, I'm going to squeeze a little bit more. So if I'm down on the back, I'm going to clench the bum, and then I'm going to try and drive the hips up and off the ground. And then I'm going to release back. If I'm on the chair, I'm going to clench the bum, and then I'm going to try and lift off the chair and then come back. So it's a little bit of a lean forward. If I'm sitting down on the floor, I'm just going to squeeze up and then release, squeeze up and release. So keeping that squeeze and release going, again, noticing if you're managing to lift, how high can I lift? If I'm lying down, can I get up onto the shoulders? Or if I'm seated up, can I get the sequence to lift off the chair? Or how much pressure do I feel on the sequence as I try to lift up? I'm going to try 2 more times. So I'm going to squeeze up to lift and relax. Squeeze up to lift and relax. And a little rest there, and then same as we did for the sides, I'm going to do for the glutes. So this time I want to find, following the neck along the middle, not right into the spine, not right onto the bony bit, but right along the side of the spine. I'm just going to gently make my way up until I get to the base of the skull. And then I'm just going to try and clear the space below the skull. So with both hands, with one hand at a time, just to see if I can try my side behind the neck, around the base of the skull or the top of the neck. And then same as I've been doing so far, I can feel that for me personally, the worst point is when I move close to the side, so towards the ear more. Some people might find it more through the middle, some people might find it right at the back. Just noticing if you find anything particularly stiff, and then I'm just going to sit there for a little bit longer, see if I can try and release it through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Taking a nice deep breath into the belly, and then same as before, I'm going to squeeze with my bum, and then see if I can try and come up into my lift, and then drop it back. Squeeze with the bum, see if I can come up into the lift, and then releasing back. And then same as before, noticing if you feel any difference. So I might find that on the first one, I felt really light, I felt really easy, and then progressively got heavier again. I feel a little bit easier throughout. I feel that I could go a little bit further up. I feel exactly the same as it was before. Just to see if I can still focus on the back of the hips, on the back of the bum, see if I can encourage it to work. 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the hips, releasing the bum, and then last time. I'm just going to find this time, I'm going to follow the edge of the jaw. So where it goes up into the ear there, I'm just going to get in there with the finger, and then I'm just going to push up and forward at the same time. So I'm going to rub it that way. So I'm going to go behind one side first. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to do exactly the same, but on the other side. So I'm going to follow the edge of the jaw. I'm going to come up towards the ear, and then I'm going to go forward at the same time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then releasing back. Relaxing the jaw. Last time. I'm trying to test that lift. So same as before, I'm going to squeeze with the bum cheek, see if I can get that lift off, and then I'm going to drop it back. See if I can get that lift off and drop it back. 3 more. Squeezing up. Take it back. 2 more. Squeezing up. Take it back. Last one. Squeezing up. Take it back and release. So relaxing the hips, so releasing the legs. I'm going to give the back of the leg a little stretch. It's the same as usual. If you've got something that you can use, like a band, a towel, a belt, then I might use the band around the foot. So I'm going to put the band around the right foot. I'm going to straighten up the right leg, and then I'm just going to gently pull it towards me until I can feel the stretch at the back of the leg. If I can't do that, as my foot doesn't come off, it's too fiddly to get the band around the foot, I'm going to try and straighten up the leg a little bit more, and then tipping forward from the hips, I'm going to lean forward from the top. See if I can try and create a little stretch going down the back of the leg the other way. So either way, what I'm trying to do is either bring the leg to the body or trying to take the body to the leg. So see if I can try and get that stretch going down the back of the leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back. Relaxing the leg, releasing the hip. I'm going to try the same thing with the left side. So putting the band around the left foot, straightening up the leg, and pull it to you so you can feel that stretch. If I'm seated, exactly the same. So I'm just going to either lift that leg up, or I'm just going to lean forward and then find the stretch the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back. Giving the legs a little walk, giving the legs a little shake, relaxing through the back of the legs. Then when you're ready, rolling over onto your side if you're lying down, pushing yourself up into sitting, finding a comfortable seated position. Using the arms to offer a little support if I need that support. I'm trying to find the seat bones to see if I can seat myself right on top of the seat bones. And then taking a deep breath in, I'm going to try and open up and lift it through the front of the body. I'm going to extend my way up. I'm going to look forward, I'm going to look up, I'm going to look back. And then I'm going to release. I'm going to let myself flop forward into flexion. And then I'm going to go back up into extension. So I'm going to open up and lift, lengthen the front of the body. And then coming down, rounding and dropping towards the ground. One more time. Lifting up, extending up and towards the ceiling. And then releasing back. One hand to the belly. One hand to the back. Take your back. Give yourself a clap like that. Any question or anything as usual? Remember, you need to unmute yourself